Nice run for the Lady Lions. 5th match of the day, and we're in the championship game. And like Dale would say, how sweet it is. We get a shot at the defending state champions, 3A volleyball, and we're going to serve first. Lindsay Perry will serve. And I've expanded the lens out just a little bit. I think if we play good defense, get our serves in, we're going to be in this thing to the end, and this is going to be fun. Nice dig by Lynn. Stephanie sets. Left hand by Autumn, goes on across. Another dig by Steph, or Alyssa George, and Kylie dumps it on over. That hits the tape on the way over, and Steph sets Autumn. That's blocked by 2 Conway Springs girls. And it's side out to Conway Springs. Pass by Lenz. Kylie sets Autumn. And that's blocked at the net. We're going to have to be quick to the net and get there first. 1-0 Conway Springs. We need side out. And that pass goes over the net, and you saw why Conway Springs is #1 team in the state. Number 7 there is a girl that played on their team last year, and she hammered it down. She's getting ready to do it again. Mallory. They're in the net. It's side out Minneapolis. All right. Autumn Knox will serve. We're behind. Nice serve. And their outside hitter drops it in for side out Conway Springs. 2-0. Conway Springs is ahead. Stephanie's pass is in the net. We can't get to it. 3-0 Conway Springs. Lenz with the dig. Stephanie, or Kylie tips it on over. That's in. Coach Mack wants a timeout. We don't want this thing to get too far away from us. It's 4-0. Conway Springs, and they're still serving. They have a very athletic team. Their outside hitters, I would guess them to be somewhere around the 5'9", 5'10" range. Their middle stud up there is about 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot. And Autumn's called for a lift. 5-zip, Conway Springs. And Lindsay has trouble with that serve. 6-0. Must have had some knuckleball action to it. Like most serves do. It's tough to handle them. That's a better one. Kylie with a pass. Steph knocks it over. And we're called for in the net. Audrey Antwell will enter this match. She comes in for Lindsay this time. Back row. 7-0 Conway Springs. That was stuffed by Conway Springs on the tip by Kylie, and we recover. Stephanie Alyssa George. We're going to go ahead and hit it. That's in the net. Side out, Minneapolis. Kylie McCulloch will serve. Nice serve. That's an ace. They couldn't get to it. 1-7. Couple more and we'll be back in this thing. Yep. Nice serve. And they were waiting on it to get there, and it got there in a hurry. Side out, Conway Springs. Seven to 1, and they're serving. Stephanie with the dig. Kylie sets Alyssa George. That's out. Well, I thought it was out of bounds the other way, and evidently it was in. That's out if they let it go. Thank you. 1-8. Mallory Go serving. Nice dig by Mal. Set to Alyssa George. She's there in time. There's a tip by Conway Springs, and we're in the net on the tip. 8 to 1. That's blocked by the Conway Springs outside hitter. It drops on Minneapolis side for a point for Conway Springs. (9-1) Conway Springs. Well, they're the class of the 3A girls volleyball in this state. They're very athletic. They have 4 or 5 girls that all are well over 5'9", 5'10", with the one that's serving right around 6 foot. Autumn back row. There's a lift by Stephanie. We're going to sub. Lindsay's back in for Audrey Atwell. 10-1. That's in the net. Side out Minneapolis. Alyssa George will serve. We need to get a couple of them here just to get on a roll. That's a nice serve. Nice hit by Autumn. We're down on the floor on Conway's side, and now we've got a little bit of momentum. I see a spark. 10 to 2. Conway Springs is ahead. We're serving Alyssa George. Nice serve. She's left-handed. And it's coming down to the floor pretty quick. Side out, Conway Springs. That's good. Side out, Minneapolis. Autumn looked for a spot to drop that one in there, and she powered it through. Stephanie Alderson serves. Lynn's with a dig. Stephanie slaps it on across. And that one's coming down to the floor pretty quick. Alyssa couldn't get to it. 10-2, Conway Springs. Our pass goes in the net, and we cannot get there to get that baby dug out of there. It's 11-2, Conway Springs. Nice dig by Alyssa George, and that sails over the net. Had some wicked spin on it, and it curved about 4 foot as it come over the net, and then it went down, landed right inside. Side out Minneapolis. 2-11, Lindsay serve. Good serve. Nope, we're not going to get it over in 3. (11-2), Conway Springs. Now with a kill. Tamp there in the net. Side out Minneapolis. Just what we needed. Autumn will serve. We're trailing 2-11. Let's get a couple of them here. Tipped at the net. Side out, Conway Springs. Well, since they've got to 11 here, we played with them. Alyssa George with the kill attempt. That's out. But tipped at the net. 12-2, Conway Springs. (13-2), Conway Springs. Lands right on the back line. Stephanie's pass goes out of bounds. (14-2). And that's short and in the net. Point, Conway Springs. 15-2. Got one more to go here. I told my wife we can play with this Conway Springs team, and we can. We just buckle down and play defense. These girls are not that overwhelming. They hit the ball just the same as we do. And I think we can play with them a little better than what we did that first game. Second game of this 5th match of the day. This is for first place. Conway Springs getting ready to serve. And that one's going down to the floor. It's top spin deluxe. Nice serve by the Conway Springs girl. Two aces in a row by Conway Springs, and they're up 2-0. Lenz digs that one. Excellent server by Conway Springs. Another nice dig, back row, but it sails out of bounds. 3-0, Conway Springs. Communication will. There, they're working it out. Good. 4-0, Conway Springs. She's definitely their best server, Mallory. Yes. Now we're cooking. Tied out to Minneapolis. Now we get our chance. Get a couple points here. And Autumn Knox serving. 0-4. It's not easy to make that pass from that back row up there. And especially when it's a knuckleball action coming at you. That was actually a carry by the Conway Springs girl. They didn't call it. It's 4-1 Conway Springs. Stephanie with the pass to Kylie. And that's stopped by the Conway Springs stud. She sets and she can hit like a ton. 5-1. Lindsay's pass goes on over and she winds up and hits it right back to Lindsay, and she can't handle it. Timeout, Minneapolis. Six to 1, Conway Springs. (24-4). Lady Lions record on this season unscathed today until they run into this volleyball machine of the Conway Springs. Seven to 1, Conway Springs. Lindsay's pass, much better. Alyssa George. Blocked by Conway at the net. And excellent stuff by Mao. Now we're cooking. Alyssa George, it's tipped. It's tipped. Alyssa George's kill. Side out, Minneapolis. 1-7, Kylie McCulloch will serve. That's out. Back row attack is long. She digs it. I would have to say Conway Springs was in the net, but it wasn't called. Conway Springs girl shaking up a little bit there. I think they're going to sub for her. Nope. Stuff at the net. She got tangled up with Alyssa George. Might have caught an elbow. Lens with the dig. Mao with the tip. Nice dig by Kylie. Stephanie's there. Alyssa knocks it on over. Tip by Conway Springs. Mallory quick to the net. Stephanie's there to set. Mao. And Conway Springs just tips it right back where Mallory was. Side out. Or it's a point, Conway Springs. I don't know about that one, but 9-2 Conway Springs. Lady Lions are on the verge of their first loss of the day. They run into this powerhouse Conway Springs Ball Club. Mostly seniors on that team. They'll unload those this year at graduation. (9-2) Conway Springs. 3 ball. It's a tip by Conway Springs, falls in there. We can't get to it. 10-2 Conway Springs. Audrey Antwell in for Lindsay Perry. Crawls up the shoulder of Autumn, and it's bumped up, sent on over by Alyssa George. And that's just tipped in by the Conway Springs girl. 11-2. Audrey Antwell with a good try on that dig. Her pass goes over towards the bench. And that's a lift. Not easy to try and field those. Coach Mack's gonna let this one go, I think. After all those serves long, she dunks one in. Lindsay back in for Audra. 14-2. Get them fired up. Let's go. We need some points. We need to break this service side out right now. Well, so much for that. 15-2. Conway Springs wins both of them. I think both of them were 15-2, so. It's a little quicker than I wanted. Minneapolis will end up second place in this Hillsboro tournament. Conway Springs first. We'll be back.